All right, it is Monday, May 11th. I'm here with Alyssa Farah Griffin. Hello, Alyssa.
Hello, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's Webby Day. Very
I
exciting. The
know.
awards are tonight.
I know you and Joy are going to be representing.
Yeah, well, Joy's going to be giving the 5-word speech, and I got her to attend.
Are any of those words allowed to be said on daytime television?
You'll have to tune into the live stream to figure it out, but we're excited, and maybe tomorrow there'll be a Webby here when we come back.
Amazing.
I'm doing okay. I'm a little concussed, possibly, because during the commercial break, Whoopi asked me to find something on the set, and I banged my head very, very hard
Those stairs are deadly.
into the staircase.
Yes.
Yeah, people always say, "What is the staircase for?"
Mostly concussions.
Mostly concussions. But there
and now
we
you're
go.
chasing it with a Celsius.
Celsius. Well, this is giving me life.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
what could possibly go wrong?
Everything's going to be fine. All right, let's talk about something important. Yesterday was your first Mother's Day.
Yes.
How did it go? How did you spend the day?
It was so magical. We honestly had a cozy day at home. My husband got me flowers. He got me 2 beautiful gifts. And we just spent the day like enjoying little Justin. And he's now at this age. So he's 3 months. Actually, he was 3 months yesterday. So it was his 3-month birthday, my first Mother's Day. He's staying up for longer stretches, and you get to like really like bond and play with him and engage him. It was, I'm like not exaggerating, it was like one of the happiest days of my life. Like just like I put on a bunch of like Taylor Swift songs, and I'm like, he's in his little baby Bjorn chair, and I'm like dancing with him and getting him. He was so much fun, and he just feels more and more every day like his personality is coming out, and like the little things of like he like when he lights up when you walk into the room, and like when my husband enters the room, like his face, he just starts like giggling, like it's like daddy's here. So I'm just in heaven.
Oh,
I'm in
so
absolute
glad.
heaven with him.
Videotape all of it. I'm telling you.
Right, because it goes so quickly.
It goes quick, and I love looking back with my daughters at them at those ages, and
Totally.
it's so great.
Well, and something I'm a lesson I'm having to teach myself in real time, and I'm kind of lucky that in having kids later than a lot of my friends, I can benefit from the lessons they learned, and they can kind of help me prepare. But you don't get to keep any age of your kid. And I find myself wrestling with that, where I'm like, he's technically not a newborn anymore. They kind of say after 2 months, then you're an infant, you're a baby for a year, then you're a toddler for 2 years, then you're a kid for a few years. Like it feels like life is moving at like hyper speed all of a sudden, and I just want to like savor every minute of it. And this is totally TMI, but sorry, that's what we do at The View. I'm also I'm still trying to breastfeed, but I'm finding, being back at work, being away from him, I'm struggling to. I'm just not producing as much milk, and it's been like way more emotional than I thought. That it feels like the closing of like a chapter.
It's a
with
transition,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like trying to remind myself, like I get to keep him forever, but it's going to be different versions. He might not be the tiny baby I brought home. Now he's like getting to be a big baby, and then eventually a big boy. But
No,
gosh,
it's those things, and
it's
and,
a trip.
and there's those things that you don't realize will be the last time you do something. And sorry, that's the hardest thing. But like for years, my daughter wanted me in her chair in her bedroom when she went to sleep, and just being there, rocking or doing something. And then one day she was okay without it, and I used to be like, oh, fine, I'll go in the chair, and now it's sad.
I know.
It's sad. I mean, she'd let me do it now, but still.
She'd let you, but it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the
She wouldn't need
same.
me to do it.
Exactly.
And now, obviously, last week on the podcast, we talked about Justin's surgery.
Yeah.
How's he doing now? We have so many people that are concerned and wanting an update.
Honestly, like everyone reaching out meant the world to me. I heard from so many people. He's doing so well. Like I really took this weekend for gratitude, and just to like, I could not believe that a week later, a week being out of the ICU, you wouldn't know from him. Like babies are so resilient. They heal so quickly. Like he's not showing any discomfort. His sleep's a little disrupted. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, of course.
He's got his scar, but even that seems like it's healing unbelievably quickly. And just like going from seeing him in his little ICU bed to being this like vibrant, happy, smiling boy a week later was like the most incredible gift I could have asked for. He's doing amazing, but again, every day of being a mother now for 3 months is like new transformative lessons. And one I keep going back to with my husband, like that we learned from this hospital experience, is you are going to love your kids more than anyone else. But part of loving them is trusting someone else to take care of them when the situation calls for it. I found myself like in the room before he went into the OR, like not wanting to let go of him to the doctors. Like, this is like my child. How could I trust you with someone else who doesn't know you as well and whatever? But that person's an expert with skilled hands who spent years of their life preparing to do that, and they can give him something I can't give him. And it was like this really weird like pull inside of me that I had to be like, of course you need to trust the neurosurgeon, not mom who is barely even holding herself together in this like waiting room. So that's something I keep going back to. But if I also may make it slightly a political rant for a moment, I read an article this weekend that a record number of babies are dying in this country because moms or parents are forgoing getting the vitamin K shot. So when newborns are born in the hospital, we've always recommended that they get it because their blood can't clot when they're young. So you give it to them and it helps it clot. And if it, God forbid, they're in a situation where they're bleeding. And so babies are literally dying from bleeding out because parents are choosing to forgo what has been standard medical care for decades of getting that vitamin K shot. I think of my son where the highest risk to him in surgery would have been blood loss. And that a parent, I don't fault the parents for this, because when you have experts who say, well, you don't need to get this, or maybe you don't need to trust this, and maybe this is not recommended, I don't blame a parent for falling for that, because we've been so taught to trust our professionals and our experts.
And you just said this was the lesson from you, to trust experts, but
then it comes into conflict when you've got someone like RFK in this position of power. So like the lesson I will always go back to, and I had to throughout my pregnancy, is your doctor who treats your child, who looks at your child and their body, listen to them. Like I beg of you, any doctor is going to tell you that that's what your child should get.
And your perspective on all of this, of course, is always tinged with the fact that you were someone who was very much on the front lines of the COVID and the introduction of vaccines. And
you know what? Let's do a little rant on that real quick, because that's front and center in my mind as well with this like hantavirus outbreak. And if you get onto X, like just don't even get onto X at this point. It's like such a brain, like
crazy.
Your brain just rots when you're on it.
Yes.
But I've seen all these people with millions of followers see that we have, some of the major pharmaceutical companies already have trials underway for hantavirus vaccines. And they're like, see, it's a conspiracy. No, hantavirus has been around for more than 40 years. This is what the medical community does, is they assess situations and threats. They try to get of pandemics and epidemics before they happen, and they try to be ready so that we can save lives when those happen. But like, I swear, the internet is just going to break people's brains. It's bringing back so many thoughts from that period of COVID. And final thing on this is, I think a lot of people think that I broke with Trump primarily over January 6th and election denialism. But for me, honestly, one of the most significant things was denialism around the efficacy of vaccines. I feel fundamentally that it was undermining public health, the direction that the GOP has gone on it, but also that what I believe in as a conservative is that something like Operation Warp Speed and how we got the vaccine is what we should believe in. We should believe in experts doing things quicker than anyone believed possible, private industry working to do it and to save lives. And if you can't get behind that, it's hard for me to be like, I see where you're going with this.
Right. And it was always such a push and pull for him, because I could see he wanted to embrace that success.
Right. And many people have said if he was ever going to get, a Nobel Peace Prize, it would have honestly been for Operation Warp Speed. It's become a model for other countries. But he felt this pull toward the far right and this vaccine skepticism and effectively ran away from what could have been his biggest legacy.
Now, going back to baby Justin for a minute.
A much better topic than my anger at public health officials.
Still on the fringe of the political. Yes. You got a lovely note from somebody, I heard.
I did. Oh my gosh. So this weekend little Justin got a beautiful note from Vice President Kamala Harris.
That was really something.
Honestly, I teared up. I was like, that was so kind that she would have thought of him, and that it was written to him meant a lot to me, because you obviously, some people would write it to the parent. It was telling him like to dream big and to believe in public service and believe that you can have an impact on making the country better. And I'm going to frame it for him, regardless of where his political views, like I may have a total lefty son, I may have a total righty son, but I know he's going to be proud that he got that. And that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah. Even my very right-wing family were like, that was so amazing of her.
Yeah, very nice. Also, she's definitely running again.
But then I texted you, I was like, she's running. It's like sending it to a View host new child.
I appreciate it. Come back.
I'm with Sunny, though. She should have run for governor.
That would have been interesting. Yeah. All right. Now we have to give a shout out to our fans here. Speaking of Mother's Day, because I know Justin took care of you, but the very first Mother's Day gift you got was from one of our fans.
Oh, yes. frame it, put it in the Louvre. Where's the camera? Bride guy in training
onesie. I mean,
I was gonna put it on baby Justin, but it's 12 months, so it's a little big. He will be wearing it.
That's okay.
He will be wearing it. But I love that when he gave it to me, he's like, "This is for you and the baby, but it's really for Brian."
I mean, that's unbelievable.
How cute is that?
This is the best merch I've ever seen.
It's so good.
Yeah. So
we have the sweetest fans, and I love how loyal the podcast fans are. That's like a different level of loyalty.
I think so too.
They're invested.
I mean, I don't think there are any, and let me know if these people exist. I don't think there are any podcast fans that aren't already View fans.
Right. Yeah, that would be a very niche thing.
Yeah. However, the podcast fans do take it to the next level.
They sure do.
So I appreciate that.
Thank you for the beautiful gift.
Thank you. We also heard this weekend, I don't have it to play right now, but one of our fans, David, sent his own composed behind the table View theme.
I haven't heard it, but I've been hearing about it and I need to hear it.
That's a level of dedication.
Shout out. I'm love that.
Very appreciative
Maybe we can bump in and out with it.
We'll work on it and see. There might be some clearance issues, but thank you guys very much. All right, let's jump back into the topic we were talking about on the show today. The Virginia Supreme Court on Friday struck down a congressional map that would have netted Democrats at as many as 4 seats in the 2026 midterm elections. You called it a race to the bottom today. I know you've been very consistent about being against gerrymandering in all of its forms, but were you surprised by this? I think most people were.
I was. And yeah, I saw the news come out and it felt like, I mean, it's a massive blow to Democrats because it was already an uphill battle to compete with what's happened in Texas, what's likely going to happen in Florida. Tennessee's already acting on gerrymandering as Republican states. As I read into it, it seemed somewhat foreseeable because of this technicality that they ruled on. That was basically ballots had already been cast before this initiative was voted on, and that would be a reason they could overturn it. Big picture to me is no one thinks anything in government is working. This Congress has a record low approval rating. We had the longest government shutdown. We have a partial government shutdown. This idea that in this day and age we'd even have something big and grand get passed through Congress is just something we don't even believe in anymore. And I think heading into the midterms where people have such a lack of trust in their government's ability to do things, but also their ability to influence election outcomes, it's even worse that you have these gerrymandering wars. I feel like it just contributes to people feeling helpless and everything's rigged. This term rigged that the right weaponizes, and I'm now hearing Dems say it's rigged because of these gerrymandering wars that Republicans have also engaged in. I would encourage people, don't lose hope. I think gerrymandering is a disaster. I think we will regret having congressional maps that look like snakes or like whatever. But get involved at the local level of government because that's where actual change happens. I've voted, I want to say like 6 times since the presidential election, but they're all in local races. The school board, the local like district attorneys races, those things actually make you feel like you can have an impact in your community when the national politics feels just fraught and helpless.
Absolutely. And there's a feeling like some of these might backfire. On both sides, potentially. So,
I mean, my thing is like, yeah, if Democrats really go like all in and decide to redraw maps in New York or in Illinois, California, they didn't go as far as they could have. That's where it could get really dicey because a lot of the most populous states are Democratic controlled states. And it could get more complicated for Republicans too. Yeah. Either way, I think it's a disaster. I think it's a mistake.
Speaking of people who may or may not be running, like Kamala Harris, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, was asked over the weekend whether she plans to run for president, and she responded by saying, I want to get this right, "What's funny is people assume my ambition is a title or seat. My ambition is to change this country. Presidents come and go, Senate and House seats come and go, but single-payer health care is forever."
So you're saying she's running.
I mean, it seems that way.
I saw that clip, and my dear friend David Axelrod was who was interviewing her, and that floored me. I'm not politically a fan of hers. We don't really align on much of anything, but that is an all-star answer. I think that so many people feel like people who are running for higher office are pursuing their ambitions. They want a title. They want to get there, and then they're going to probably be greedy, probably see what they can like take while the getting is good in office. And that pointed to something that I feel like is missing in our politics. I don't even support her approach to healthcare, but it's that it's about a bigger mission or a bigger outcome that you want to see happen.
Right.
And there's a huge lesson that Democrats can take from her in not just that answer, but I think she's kind of taken up the mantle of what Bernie Sanders was.
I would say Bernie's the one that points to for me, who also felt like that.
It's this economic populism that Trump to some degree has tapped into, but it's like, I've never in my lifetime felt like people are struggling as much as they are. Like, I'm a high income earner and I worry about finances. I can't imagine how I would have felt in this moment 10 years ago. Like, it's just, everything is harder to do. It's harder to have the American dream. And if you can speak to that and you can show that it's about the issues that affect everyday Americans, like that's the whole message for Democrats.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And a lot of people pointed to that as, someone figured out how to answer this question.
Right. Well, right. Because we do it anytime we have a politician here who's getting buzzed to run for office. Is like, are you going to be running? And they tend to just demur and say, nothing to announce at this time. But I'm like, that's the whole answer. Is like, if you are, it's because you're running for something that's greater than the title or the role. And this is what it is.
And whatever's going to get me to get this done for America is what I'll do.
Exactly.
And that's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Before we go, let's get your take on a topic that comes from your favorite network, Bravo.
Yes.
The new show, The City, which is a spinoff from Summer House, which I know what that is now.
Yes.
And in the trailer, we see that one of the cast members, Whitney, has moved her entire life to New York from LA to live with her boyfriend of less than a year. Do you ever think it's a smart move to change your entire life for someone when there's no commitment in sight?
I preface all this to say this hasn't aired yet, so there could be ins and outs we're not aware of. I'm not super clear on what her career situation is.
So Whitney is a former model and social media influencer, and you can do well with that.
You can do well with that.
Her boyfriend, Kenny, is a self-made real estate investor and venture capitalist, and you can do well with that as well. Probably better.
Probably, yeah. Between the two, probably better. I'll say yes and no. Okay. With Justin, I actually knew that he was like the quote unquote one fairly early. And I always thought that was kind of bogus and just something like people said like, oh, they're the one. I always thought something less romantic. Like you eventually were like, yeah, this feels right. With him, I would say basically 5-6 serious dates. I was like, this person is different. I got to know I met and spent a weekend with his family, I think by our 4th date.
Oh, that's big.
Like I knew I wasn't, that doesn't mean I would have said to him like, we're getting married, because I didn't want to send him running for the hills.
Right.
But I felt in my heart, I was like, this man's going to very likely be my husband. But I still wouldn't have moved in with him that quickly if he had asked me to. He actually moved to Boston for work. We did a full year of long distance. Actually got closer because of that, because it forced us to be deliberate in seeing each other. Because I was working in the White House. I was traveling all over the world. He had a big job. So while I think you could know that somebody is right within 8 months or even earlier than that, I would be very hesitant to uproot your whole life for that person. Now, if she wanted to come to New York anyways, and that was part of the calculation, I respect that, and that makes sense. But I think you need to really be happy and fulfilled in who you are and what you're doing in your life, and then let that relationship build over time.
Are you too young for Felicity?
No, I remember Felicity.
Okay, so that was the whole premise of Felicity.
Oh, yeah.
That she followed a guy to college who wanted nothing to do with her.
Which is kind of hard to believe anyone wanted nothing to do with her. That was a tough
Until
sell.
she cut her hair.
Yeah, I know. That was like...
Yeah. I mean, that was just a disaster.
Devastating, right?
Devastating. Yes, Kerry Russell.
Yes.
Love her. Still.
Love her.
Yes. But there you go. All right. That's all the time we have for today. But thank you for joining me today, Alyssa. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Joy Behar, fresh from the Webby Awards. My guest will be Joy Behar and a Webby Award. And so that tonight, if you're able to stream them, I don't know if you are, check it out. And we will see you tomorrow.